right. What the hell are we doing here? Oh, yeah.
Bible study.
Yeah. So, well, Mike, I just want to do a quick warm-up round. So, I've been watching you interview for a long fucking time, and so I don't know about you, but I get nervous every fucking time I sit down in this goddamn chair with somebody of your stature sitting across from me.
My stature.
Yeah, and do you get that when you interview people?
Strangely enough, not really, and I have no idea why, but I really don't. I mean, I would say there's a little bit of maybe butterflies of just wanting to get it started. I mean, kind of like before you did the O course or before you shoot a competition or do a certification qual or something like that. That little bit of like anxiousness, but strangely enough, not really. I think most of it is just because I'm an asshole. And I don't view anybody as being somebody worth getting nervous about. I guess I don't know. But yeah, I just really don't.
Yeah.
Strangely enough.
I get nervous because you're giving me time. You know what I mean? And I know how precious that is, being a business owner. And everybody that comes out, they're flying out here, they're taking, more than one day.
Yeah.
And I want to give them the best fucking goddamn episode that I possibly can, and I always want to top the last one. But so it's nerve-wracking for me.
Yeah, I think part of it too is like you've got such an amazing production setup too that probably adds to it. I think because it's it's more of an official feel, whereas mine, especially like when you came to do mine, like it's in my fucking living room.
Yeah.
Where I was living at the time. I mean, now I have an actual studio, but even then it's still, the guests come in, we meet real quick, hey, sit the fuck down, we knock it out, and then they leave, so it's, I think, because I probably put so much less, production value into the whole process, like I don't have as much time to think about it maybe, because the days leading up to it, I'll do a lot of research on the guest. If they have a book, I'll read it. If whatever their subject matter expertise is, I'll, try to formulate the outline for the interview based off of that. But, so then I'll be thinking through things. But then when it's time to go, like it's, the studio's an hour from where I live now. So I, drive there, get there. It's, I'm usually kind of in a rush, for whatever reason. And I've got other shit going on throughout the day that has me kind of probably focused on that, and it's almost like a deflection a little bit. So I think, I just the whole process for me is just a little bit different and makes it a little easier to just sit down and knock it out without thinking about it. It's probably more what it is than anything else.
Yeah.
But
well, I mean, you're a fucking great interviewer, man. I
appreciate it.
I really when I was first starting. A lot of guys are doing this, and I've kind of felt like a turd stepping into this space. But you're one of the only guys out there that can actually shut the fuck up and make it about your actual guest, and that's seems to be pretty rare these days. And I just love your style, and it seems like you do a ton of research on people, and I've done a ton of interviews where 5 minutes in, I'm like, what the fuck am I even doing here?
Yeah.
You don't even know my last name.
Yeah.
And so I quit doing them.
Yeah.
But your technique was different. We talked a little bit about it, and you said you don't. I listen to everybody. I try to find all your podcasts, and that's the first thing I go down. And you don't.
Yeah. So I purposely don't listen to other interviews with them. I'll do a lot of research in terms of what they do and if they've, published anything on, whatever their expertise is, or, if they've written books, again, I read them, or I try to get as much kind of written information. But for me, I think just, I kind of view every interview as a conversation. And so, I'll purposely not spend, as much time with them as possible prior to it. I try to limit that as much as I can, so that we don't shoot the shit, so that I don't get a good feel for them, so that when we sit down, it's completely unfiltered, totally raw, and it's my natural reaction to what they're telling me. Because if for some reason I ask them something that they've already been asked, five other times, in other interviews, how I respond and any follow-up questions are only going to be natural if I've not heard them answer that. And so to me, I've gotten, a lot of good feedback on, hey, I heard so-and-so on your podcast. I've watched 10 other interviews, but I liked yours the best. It seemed the most real and natural and whatever. And I think that's it. It's not that I don't want to listen to their interviews. For me, it's really about trying to make my response to whatever they're talking about completely authentic, or as authentic as possible. Like even, say, Dakota Meyer, like I read all of his book except for the actual actions on the objective where he was awarded the Medal of Honor. Like I purposely didn't read that part of the book so that when he was telling the story, it was the first time I'd ever heard it. And I think that for me is what works really well to be able to think about and digest what they're saying and have an authentic, like, holy shit type of follow-up question that I think of right on the fly the way most people would while they're listening to it. Whereas if I try to formulate too many questions and too many follow-up questions and too many kind of rabbit holes down a certain subject, then to me it feels forced, and I can only assume that it probably comes across that way. So that's kind of why I do it the way I do it, I guess. But
well, it fucking works. I do the opposite. Because I like with you, for example, there's been several things that you've dropped. It's almost like you wanted them to go down that rabbit hole, and they didn't. And I'm glad they didn't, because I can't fucking wait to dive in and explore some of that stuff. And well, whatever. Who do you think who was your favorite interview so far?
the person that I've had on, you mean, or
Yeah.
Is this a trick question since you've been on the show?
No. Take me out of it. Serious question.
Probably Dr. James Mitchell. He wrote Enhanced Interrogations, which was a book about, he was an Air Force colonel that he got out right before 9/11. He basically retired, and 9/11 happened, and the CIA basically drug his ass back in, and he was an instrumental part of the process in developing the enhanced interrogation tactics. And he was actually one of the main interrogators that broke Khalid Sheikh Mohammed, the mastermind behind 9/11. I mean, he spent hundreds, if not thousands, of hours interrogating and building a rapport with this guy over a several year period, and getting his insight into, that at that time, especially because where I was at in my Navy career of, I was at a platoon in SEAL Team 3 when 9/11 happened. So, it was like fucking varsity squad right there, ready to react. That was a pretty neat place to be looking back on it. A lot of people are like, oh, I was in high school, or, I was, an ops chief or whatever. Like I had just finished a platoon and was getting ready to start another one when it hit. So it was like, I couldn't have been in a better position operationally. And so being able to interview him, at almost a paralleled universe within the government and the country at such a pivotal time in our nation's history, to me was just really fascinating to be able to talk to him about all the things that he did, as well as the parallels that exist between interrogations and high-level using psychology to break and obtain information from people that are hell-bent on not giving it to you. The parallels that exist between that and dog training are fucking uncanny, which I wasn't expecting either until I started reading the book. And so sitting there talking to him and being able to make those parallels in conjunction with just my background and where I was, during the time that he was while he wrote the book, was probably my favorite in terms of just being the most fascinating for me sitting across the desk. But,
Damn, I haven't listened to that one.
you ought to have him on, honestly. He's a fascinating guy, and just a hell of a story. His book is remarkable too. It was a really cool episode. But,
well, as soon as you leave, I'm going to be listening to that.
Yeah.
But my favorites, and I haven't been able to listen to them all, obviously, but your one with Eddie Penny, I thought was fucking really good. You didn't, what I love is you just don't hold back, and that got really in depth and really detailed, and I thought that was a fucking all-star interview.
Yeah.
And then I really liked Laura Logan.
Yeah.
You know, that was when the whole child pornography and rape are two things that I can stomach a lot of shit, and fucking gang rape is not one of them.
Yeah.
I don't like it in movies. I don't like it in anything. But the way that you got her to open up about that and interviewed her, it was, I mean, done fucking perfectly. It wasn't, for me personally, it was done perfectly. It wasn't too much information to where it was going to ruin my day and really bother me, because that shit really fucking bothers me. But it was enough, it was definitely enough detail to paint the picture of how fucking, you know, miserable that must have been.
Yeah.
And just to get people to open up like that it's fucking hard to do.
Yeah, I mean, I appreciate the words for sure. I think, you know, like with most things, the guest plays probably the biggest role in that, you know, and I think if you shut up and get out of their way and you know, actually listen to what they're saying and base your follow-up questions off of what they're talking about, not what you already have written down. To me, that's really the benchmark key to a good interview is, and I talk about this, you know, from a politics standpoint all the time with people in terms of, you know, listening to understand, not to respond, you know, and obviously in an interview you have to be listening to respond, but, you know, the first part of that is listening to understand. I mean, you see it on the media all the time, whether it's, I mean, pick a fucking channel where somebody will give a minute and a half in-depth, you know, super powerful response to a question, and the interviewer's like, that's interesting, so tell me about, you know, and then just completely skip over and have no follow-up to what they just said. And I think, you know, that's why most interviews are fucking boring. You know, is because that's how most people conduct them. They have their cookie cutter fucking questions that they have asked, they go through them, and that's it, you know. And I think it just wastes people's time. But
Last question on this, and then we'll move on. But if you could interview anybody right now who's alive, who do you got your sights on?
You know, my first, I guess, inclination would be George Bush, just because he was president for the bulk of my time in the Navy. And there's some tough questions I would like to ask him, as well as just, I think he'd be an interesting interview. I think you know, I've seen a number of him that, you know, again, to me, so many people, because he's a president, like, well, I'm not going to ask this, or I'm going to tap dance around that. Or on the transverse, you have somebody that's trying to trick fuck him, you know, where he just clams up and is like, fuck you, I'm not answering it, or tap dances around it or whatever. And to me, I would love to, you know, to see what I could get out of him, so to speak, you know, just about his time as president there, and some of the things that I've heard that went on, you know, from people that were kind of insiders at the time. And again, just from the bulk of my Navy career being, you know, under him as president, I think he'd be a fascinating interview. But
That would be a fucking good one. That would be a real good one.